Welcome to Learn English Podcast.
Okay, I have a question for you, and I want you to really think about it. If you could have a private English tutor available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never gets tired, never gets frustrated with you, never judges you, completely free, would you use it? Because that's what millions of people around the world are saying ChatGPT is, a free, always available English tutor that lives in your phone. And in 2026, ChatGPT is the most searched AI tool on the entire planet. More people are Googling ChatGPT than almost anything else. So the question is, does it actually work? Can an AI really teach you English? Today, we tested it. We spent real time using ChatGPT to learn English, and we're going to tell you exactly what it does brilliantly, what it does terribly, and the one thing that surprised us completely, things we did not expect at all. This is going to be a good one. Stay with us.
Mark, okay, I am so excited for this episode, like genuinely.
Olivia, same. This one feels different because everyone is talking about AI right now. Everyone. And English learners especially are asking this question constantly.
Should I use ChatGPT to learn English? We get this in our comments, in our DMs, from friends, from family, and we finally sat down and actually tested it properly so we could give people a real, honest answer.
And if you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are Mark and Olivia, and this is Learn English Every Day. We post a brand new episode every single day, which means if you hit subscribe right now, you are giving yourself a free English lesson every single day for the rest of the year. Do it. You won't regret it.
And today, we're starting with something that surprises most people about ChatGPT and language learning, because most people assume that more technology means better learning, and the truth is a little more complicated than that. Let's get into it.
Okay, Olivia, let's start with the basics, because some listeners might be thinking, wait, what even is ChatGPT? Like, how does it work?
Great place to start. So, ChatGPT is what we call a large language model. It's an AI that has been trained on an enormous amount of text: books, websites, articles, conversations, basically a huge portion of the written internet. And because of that training, it can write back to you in a way that sounds very natural, very human.
And the reason it became so popular so fast is because it's incredibly easy to use. You just type something, anything, and it responds. You can ask it to explain grammar. You can ask it to correct your writing. You can have a full conversation with it in English. You can ask it to give you vocabulary exercises. The range of things it can do is genuinely impressive.
And I want to say I went in a little bit skeptical. I'm going to be honest, because I've heard a lot of hype about AI tools, and a lot of the time the reality doesn't match the hype. But I tested this seriously. I spent time every day using ChatGPT specifically for English learning tasks, and some of what I found genuinely surprised me.
Same for me. And the first thing we both agreed on, the thing ChatGPT does really, really well, is grammar explanation.
Oh, it's so good at this, like shockingly good.
So here's what I mean. If you are confused about a grammar rule, let's say you don't understand the difference between I have been working and I was working, you can type that question into ChatGPT and it will give you a clear, detailed, patient explanation. And then, this is the part I love, you can ask follow-up questions. You can say, okay, but what about in this sentence? And it will keep explaining, keep adjusting, keep going until you understand.
And it never makes you feel stupid. That's a big thing, because sometimes when you ask a teacher the same question 3 times, you start to feel embarrassed. You feel like you're wasting their time. ChatGPT has infinite patience. Ask it the same question 100 times, it will explain it 100 times in 100 different ways if you ask it to.
And the second thing it does really well is writing correction. If you write something in English, an email, a paragraph, an essay, and you paste it into ChatGPT and ask it to correct this, it will correct it. And it won't just fix the mistakes. If you ask it to, it will explain why each thing was wrong, which is incredibly valuable.
Because there's a big difference between knowing that something is wrong and understanding why it's wrong. If you just know it's wrong, you'll make the same mistake next time. If you understand, really understand, you start to build a rule in your head, and rules stick.
I tested this myself. I wrote a paragraph on purpose with about 8 grammar mistakes in it, mistakes that a learner at a B1 level might make, things like wrong verb tense, missing articles, incorrect prepositions. I pasted it into ChatGPT and asked it to correct and explain. And Olivia, it caught every single mistake. Every one. And the explanations were clear, accurate, and actually useful.
That's impressive. That's genuinely impressive.
It is. And here's a phrase I want to give listeners for this idea: immediate feedback. In language learning, immediate feedback is gold. The faster you find out that something is wrong, the faster you can fix it.
Immediate feedback, getting a correction or response right away, without waiting. One benefit of using AI is that you get immediate feedback on your writing any time of day.
But here's where most people get it wrong when they use ChatGPT for English learning. And this is really important, because I think a lot of people are using it in a way that actually holds them back.
Hey, quick thing before we get to that. If you're finding this useful, share it with one person in your life who is learning English. One person. You know someone. Send them this episode. It could genuinely change how they learn. Okay, back to it.
So, Mark, here's what I see happening. People open ChatGPT, they ask it a grammar question, they read the answer, and they close the app. And they feel like they learned something. But did they? Probably not. Not really.
Exactly, because reading about English is not the same as practicing English. And this is the trap of ChatGPT. It makes you feel productive. You're doing something. You're asking questions, you're getting answers. It looks like studying. But if you're not actually producing English yourself, writing, speaking, making mistakes, getting corrected, you're not really learning. You're just reading.
And I think this is the same trap that exists with a lot of learning tools. You know, I used to have a student, brilliant guy, very motivated, and he would spend 3 hours a night studying English. 3 hours. Flashcards, grammar videos, reading articles, and after 6 months, his English had barely improved. And when I sat down with him, I realized he had never once had a real conversation in English. Not one. He had studied about English for 6 months without ever actually using it.
And that's the thing. English is a skill, not a subject, and skills require practice, real practice. Not just reading about the skill, not just watching other people do the skill, actually doing it yourself, imperfectly, repeatedly, until your brain builds the pathways it needs.
So here's how to use ChatGPT the right way. Instead of just asking it questions and reading answers, use it as a conversation partner. Type messages to it in English, have a real back and forth, make mistakes, ask it to correct you, ask it to respond only in natural, casual English. Treat it like a friend you're having a conversation with.
And here's a phrase for this: active practice. Actually producing and using English yourself, not just consuming it. Reading grammar rules is passive. Writing sentences and getting feedback is active practice.
The difference between passive and active is everything. Passive is watching, active is doing. And ChatGPT can support active practice, but only if you use it that way. Most people don't.
And here's the funny thing. I tested this too. I spent 1 week using ChatGPT only passively, just reading explanations. And then I spent 1 week using it actively, having full conversations, asking it to role-play scenarios with me, writing paragraphs and asking for detailed feedback. The difference in how much I retained? Enormous, night and day.
What kind of scenarios did you role play?
Okay, so I asked it to pretend to be a job interviewer, and I typed my answers as if I was in a real interview. And then I asked it to give me feedback on my language, not my content, just my English. Was it natural? Was it formal enough? Did I make any errors?
That is such a smart way to use it.
It felt a little silly at first, typing, "I have 5 years of experience in marketing" to a chatbot. But the feedback was actually really useful. It told me I was overusing the word basically, which, by the way, I do overuse in real life too, so that was humbling.
Olivia, basically everything.
I basically do. But now I know, and that's the point. It caught a real habit that I have, and now I'm aware of it. That's valuable.
And honestly, that story leads perfectly into what we're talking about next, because there is one thing that ChatGPT genuinely cannot do for you. And I think this is the part that changed how I think about AI and English learning completely.
Okay, here is the mistake, and I want to say this clearly because I think it's the most important thing in today's episode.
Go for it.
The mistake is believing that ChatGPT can replace real human interaction. It cannot. And if you try to use it that way, if ChatGPT becomes your only English practice, you will hit a wall, a very frustrating wall.
Say more, because some people are going to push back on that.
Sure. So here's the thing. ChatGPT is incredibly good at text, written English, grammar, vocabulary, spelling, structure, fantastic. But spoken English is a completely different world. The rhythm, the speed, the emotion, the interruptions, the pauses, the cultural references, ChatGPT doesn't give you any of that, and real conversations do.
The right way to think about ChatGPT is as a supplement, not a replacement. A supplement to real conversation, real listening, real human connection. It is a tool, a very powerful tool, but it is not a teacher. It is not a friend. It is not a community.
A supplement, not a replacement. Say that to yourself again. ChatGPT is a supplement, not a replacement.
And here's the other thing. Language learning has an emotional component that AI simply cannot replicate. When you have a real conversation with a real person in English, when you make a joke and they laugh, when you explain something and they understand, something happens in your brain that doesn't happen when you type to a chatbot. You feel connected, you feel motivated, and motivation is the engine of language learning.
There's a concept in language learning research called comprehensible input. This means language that you can mostly understand, but that is just slightly above your current level, so you're always being gently stretched. Listening to this podcast is comprehensible input. You understand most of it, but you're learning new things too.
And ChatGPT can provide comprehensible input in text form, absolutely. But a real conversation with a native speaker, with a teacher, with a language partner provides comprehensible input in a way that is richer, messier, more real. And that messiness is actually part of what makes it so effective.
I wish someone had told me this earlier, honestly, because when AI tools first became popular, I thought, great, I don't need a language partner anymore. I have AI. And I think a lot of learners are making that same assumption right now, and it's costing them.
Don't worry, even very experienced language learners make this mistake. The technology is new, the hype is real, and it's easy to assume that better technology means you need less human contact. But the opposite is actually true. The more tools you have, the more important it is to also have real human practice, because that's what ties everything together.
And here's the thing that surprised me most about our whole experiment. The best results came when we combined both. We used ChatGPT to prepare. We studied vocabulary, we practiced writing, we asked grammar questions. And then we took that preparation into real conversations. And because we were better prepared, the real conversations went better, which made us more confident, which made us practice more. It became a positive cycle.
So ChatGPT works best as preparation for real English, not as a substitute for it.
Think of it like going to the gym before a sports match. The gym makes you stronger, but the gym is not the game. You still have to play the game.
Hey, if this episode is giving you value today, please take 2 seconds right now and hit like and subscribe. It costs you nothing, and it genuinely helps us reach more people who are trying to improve their English every day. We put everything into these episodes, and your support is what keeps us going.
And to everyone who has already subscribed, already left us a comment, already shared an episode with a friend, thank you so much. We see those messages, we read them, and they mean more to us than we can say. You are why we show up every single day.
Okay, Olivia, 3 takeaways. Let's go.
Number 1, ChatGPT is excellent for grammar help, writing correction, and vocabulary building.
Number 2, use it actively, not passively. Have conversations, not just question and answer sessions.
And number 3, ChatGPT is a supplement, not a replacement. Real human practice is still essential.
Write those down or save this episode and come back to it when you need a reminder.
That is a wrap on today's episode. And honestly, this one was so fun to make because we got to be curious together. We tested something, we found real answers, and we got to share it with you. That's what this podcast is all about.
And tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow is a good one. We are talking about something that even people with very high English levels struggle with. Something that sounds small but makes a massive difference in how natural and confident you sound. Trust us, you do not want to miss tomorrow's episode.
Come find us on YouTube too. We post the video version of these episodes there, and seeing us react to each other honestly makes everything more fun. Come say hi.
Olivia has extremely expressive eyebrows on camera.
I really do. They have their own personality at this point. Come see for yourself.
And today's challenge, open ChatGPT right now and type one thing in English. Anything. A sentence about your day, a question you've always had about grammar. One thing, and see what happens. Then come back and tell us about it in the comments.
We are rooting for you, every single one of you. We will see you tomorrow, right here, every single day.
See you tomorrow. Keep going. You've got this.